From the moment we're children, we're taught to seek approval. A smile from a parent when we behave, praise from a teacher when we do well, cheers from friends when we fit in. Slowly, without even realizing it, we begin to tie our worth to other people's opinions. And before long, it becomes a chain, an invisible one, that follows us everywhere we go. We start to measure our choices, not by what feels right, but by how others might react. We dress a certain way, not because we love it, but because we hope it will be accepted. We hold back our opinions, not because we don't believe in them, but because we fear being judged. We silence our dreams, not because they're impossible, but because we're scared someone will laugh. And this is how so many of us live, controlled by an audience that doesn't even exist. Because the truth is, most people aren't watching us as closely as we think. They're too busy worrying about themselves. Yet, the chains remain, heavy and unrelenting, until we forget who we really are beneath them. This is the silent prison of caring too much about what people think. And unless you break free, it can steal your entire life. It's exhausting, isn't it? Waking up every day and putting on a mask, hoping it's the right one for the crowd you'll face. With family, you act one way. With friends, another. At work, you play yet another role. And the worst part, none of those versions feel completely real. You post pictures, not because you want to, but because you hope people will like them. You chase careers, not because they light you up inside, but because they sound impressive when others ask what you do. You even measure your happiness not by how you feel, but by how happy others think you look. This is what it means to live for their eyes, always performing, always adjusting, always hiding the truest parts of yourself in fear of rejection. And little by little, the real you begins to fade. You stop dreaming boldly. You stop speaking honestly. You stop living freely. And for what? For claps that never last, for approval that vanishes the second you slip, for validation that can't fill the emptiness inside. Living for their eyes is like chasing a shadow. You'll never catch it, and you'll lose yourself trying. But then, one day, something clicks. Maybe it happens after you've bent yourself into 1,000 shapes just to make others happy, and still someone criticizes you. Or maybe it hits you late at night, when you realize how many years you've wasted trying to please people who don't even remember half the things you've done. And in that moment, the truth hits hard. Nobody is watching you as closely as you think. The world isn't a stage with you at the center. It's billions of people, each trapped in their own worries, fears, and insecurities. The judgments you fear are fleeting thoughts in someone else's busy mind. They pass in seconds, while you carry them for years. That realization is both painful and liberating. Painful because you see how much of your life has been lived for others. Liberating because you realize you can stop. You don't need their approval. You never did. And once that truth sinks in, it changes everything. The chains loosen. The weight lifts. For the first time, you glimpse what freedom could feel like. The freedom to finally live as yourself. Freedom doesn't come without a price. The moment you stop caring what people think, some will notice. Some will talk. They'll say you've changed. They'll whisper that you're selfish, arrogant, or even crazy. And in a way, they're right. You have changed. You're no longer bending, no longer begging, no longer shrinking yourself to fit inside their comfort zone. At first, it hurts. The fear of rejection lingers, and the silence of losing approval feels louder than the noise of applause. But here's the secret most people never discover, that silence is where your power grows. Because for the first time, you're not living by their script, you're writing your own. Yes, you'll lose some people, but the ones who stay, they'll stay for you, not for the mask you wore. And you'll realize something profound. The cost of freedom is temporary discomfort, but the reward is permanent authenticity. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Because once you taste the power of being unapologetically yourself, you'll never want to go back to being a prisoner of opinions. There's a moment when the fear of judgment no longer controls you. When you walk into a room and don't wonder what people are thinking because you're too busy living your truth. When you post, speak, or dream, not for applause, not for validation, but because it feels right to your soul. That is when you become untouchable. Untouchable doesn't mean people stop judging. They always will. It means their judgments lose their power over you. Their words may reach your ears, but they don't pierce your heart. Their opinions may surround you, but they don't steer your path. You've reclaimed the steering wheel of your life, and no one else gets to drive it. This is what freedom feels like. To wake up and know you are enough, not because of what others think, but because you finally believe it yourself. To pursue your dreams boldly, to love authentically, to live unapologetically. And here's the truth. The day you stop caring what people think isn't the day the world changes. It's the day you change. And when you do, your entire world transforms with you.